Hey guys, just want to take a few minutes and show you something that I think is fun. What you're looking at is something that I call the factory, which is an inexpensive way to do a lot of processing. In this case, what we have are 7 computers that are clustered together to do a really big job of document conversion. So we've got this one over here, which is sort of the mothership. It's not really doing processing, but it has a lot of storage. It's about 10 terabytes of storage on that one, and it feeds documents out, takes documents back, and saves them. And then we've got 6 other computers that are on the network, and they each have 4 processors each. So each one has 4, has 4 cores that you can use and tie up as a full process. So I have a total of 24 of these cores running, working on this problem. Now the problem is document conversion. So I'm a linguist. I do a lot of investigation of large document collections. So in that line of work, a lot of times you don't get documents in a format that you can use. They come as PDFs, they come as images, and even when they're PDFs, they don't have text layer in them. They just are, the PDF is a package for a series of images where the document's been scanned. And so in order to do a lot of work on those documents, you really have to get the text out of there, which is done with OCR, something like Tesseract or between Tesseract and the popular utils package for Linux, you can get that text out of there, but it's very process intensive. If you only had a couple of 100 documents to do, a couple of thousand to do, not a big deal. But in this case, this current set that I'm working on, let's see, this current set, there is about 4.5 million pages, and each page is an individual image that has to be OCR'd. So that becomes a problem. You're spending a couple of seconds each on these things, big problem. It just takes forever and ever. Now of course there are services to do this, but that can get really expensive too. If you got to pay them a penny a page and you got millions of pages, and all of a sudden you got a big bill. So this is a cheap alternative. It's not super fast, but I can convert about 500,000 documents a day, which is plenty for me. So in a week or so, I'll be finished with this whole thing. So basically, each one of these, again, is running. So what I've got here is I'm just connected using SSH to a headless server. I'll show you the servers, the hardware in a little bit, but I'm just connected up. So here's, these are the 6 boxes that I'm connected to, and then this is the sort of the mothership where I keep track of things and do backups and all that sort of stuff. So each one of these boxes, if you look down here at the temps, okay, you'll see that they're running pretty high. I'm using some Optiplex 790s and one better box than that with i5s in them, but the cooling systems are not that good. But again, I'm doing this cheap, so I've got it set up where I can keep the temperatures. They're all usually in the 60s. There's one in the 50s, but usually in the 60s. I keep them under 70. The high temperature for this particular CPU is 85, so I'm never anywhere close to that. So I can keep everything quiet. I can keep these things, if we look at the, we can see that our CPU is running at 100. We've actually got 4 cores in the CPU, but in total the whole thing is running at nearly 100% all the time, converting these documents. Okay, I've used this quite a bit. Last year I did 2 sets of about 7 million, so 14-15 million conversions, and then I've just finished a set of 6.5, and I'm working on a set of 5 or 4.5 right now. So it just works great. And the reality is, this whole thing, it would have cost tens of thousands of dollars to get these things converted. This whole thing only cost, about 600 or 700, 800 bucks probably that I spent to put this thing together. Okay, so that is it from this end. I mean, I'm just using, these are just SSH, windows here, or screens opened up, and then I use tmux on the machine, so that if the connection goes down, the machine stays running, nothing happens, so it's kind of safe. And then on each of these boxes, I'm running Alpine Linux, which is a small image, and really efficient, really fast, and it's great for this. So that's what you see going here. So just it's just that simple. So let's go look at the hardware. Alright, so getting started. This is my workstation, and then this is the what I call the mothership. Okay, see the hard drive light blinking away there. Now this has a lot of functions. It's actually a server that my partners use to do investigation, so it's kind of critical that I don't bog this down by using up all the processors on here, because the investigations they're doing are very process intensive, so I got to leave this free. But this has about 10 terabytes of storage on there, so it's acting sort of as the mothership for the cluster that I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so from here the documents are being moved across the net to the boxes. They're being converted, and then the text image or the text file is being put back over here. And then every morning, I've got this docking station. Every morning, I come in, I pause the factory, turn off, essentially just stop the processing, and I do backups. And then when this gets full, I've got a safe I put these in. I mean, it's mainly for fire storage, fire protection, so that I don't lose my copies. But so this is an extra backup copy. Every morning I do that, then I unpause it, and it goes back to work. So basically that's there. I've got a switch back here. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, there's a switch back there, and that runs over to the cluster. So let me show you the cluster. Alright, this is the cluster. I've got 6 Dell Optiplexes here. The ones with blue lights are Optiplex 790s, and this one down here with the kind of white light is my best one. It's a 7010, Optiplex 7010. But they all have Core i5 processors, 4 cores in each CPU. They're pretty good, pretty efficient. They are 100-watt TPU on these things, so they are a little heavy on the energy, but not too bad, especially because you've got those 4 cores running, and they are running at 100%. So I've taken all of the DVDs out. I keep them in a box, so here's the DVDs and the disk trays, the hard drive trays. I take those out, and what I'm installing is one of these, which is just a 32 gig SSD. And the reason I put that in there, I don't need, I want the speed, okay, that this works really fast compared to the old platter hard drives. So I want that speed, and then it's small, because the only thing that's happening is it's just copying the image down, storing it on the SSD just for a short while it's going through the conversion, and then it gets pushed back up to the mothership. And so it's just quick temporary storage. I'm running Alpine Linux, so the whole Alpine Linux with all the installs is still under gig. Okay, so I'm not coming anywhere close to using those disks. Nowhere close. Okay, this is so I've got these the drives out. I took out the extra hardware that's in there, so the disk is actually just laying in there. And then I've got this extra fan blowing here because you've got to have as much circulation going through there as you can. The coolers for these CPUs are not very good, the factory coolers. But again, we're trying to do this inexpensively, and I didn't change them. I didn't do any mods to them or anything like that. So basically, with this setup, you get a lot of computing power. You gotta, make sure you keep it cool, but you get a lot of computing power for not a lot of money. These three in the back, I've had those for a year and a half or so. I paid $120 each for those. They came with the drive, with disk drives in them. These came without the disk drives, and I paid $250 for all three of these things. Okay, so not a lot of capital spent on getting a good or a lot of processing, and it's getting the job done. If you're wondering what that is Peanut the server. It is a AMD Geode 400 megahertz, 128 megs of RAM, not gigs, megs of RAM. It's a teeny tiny little server. You can actually get on my website, claytondarwin.com. You can find Peanut and connect to Peanut, and he does silly stuff. But yeah, you can connect to him. Anyway, okay, so that's the front side view. Let's look at the back side. All right, here's the back side of this thing. Now, each one of these is running, again, it's running Alpine Linux. It's running as a headless server, so it's really simple. I just got, each one's connected. I've got a switch right here, okay. It's an 8-port switch, so I've got all 6 of those connected on there, and a power cord. That's it. Peanut's piggybacking on that switch because he didn't have a place to go. I ran out of stuff over there. Now I do have an auxiliary power unit. This is a 1200 watt auxiliary power unit. Now each one of these, like I said, the TPU on these CPUs is 100 watts. They're running at 100%, so we got to expect that there's at least 600 watts being used here. Probably more like 1,000 watts being used here. So this auxiliary power unit is not going to run but for 10 minutes or something like that before it's completely given out. But what it's there for is if I have a power issue, it will keep everything from just completely shutting down from a power glitch, which I have regularly here. So it helps it survive power glitches. If there's a complete power outage, the thing will shut off, but it'll pick right back up when you turn it back on. So it's very redundant system. So I can switch it off and on however I need to, and I don't really lose anything. It's just the way that I've designed the cluster. So there's the cluster. Interesting thing, I save all the parts. Got the drives and that sort of thing that came out of these. So as I replace them, I can still get $100 for these things on Craigslist. So I get a better one. I put this one back together. I sell it on Craigslist for $100. I've essentially used it for a year. Converted millions of documents with it, and I break even nearly. So, but anyway, that's my cluster. It's a great way to do a lot of stuff for not a lot of money, and it's worked great for me. Like I said, I'm probably, after I finish this set, I'll be in the 20-25 million documents that I've run through this thing, and it just works flawlessly. I love it. All right, well, there you go.